Hello, everyone. This is well, first of all, it's good to be back, I guess. And you're gonna have to excuse me. This is my first stream, so there might be a lot of ums, buts, and and just a lot of extra unnecessary words coming out of my mouth. Trying to get used to streaming, kind of get used to this side of the community, I guess. But I do hope everyone's well. I do hope everyone's been doing okay. Um, I've been gone for a couple of months, so yeah, but it's good to see that nothing has really changed too much besides the actual prices in the market. So yeah, this stream is pretty much just going to be a little overview of just some macro stuff that I talked about on Twitter, stuff that's happened before my absence as well, and also just going over a recent setup that I gave in the community. Um, So yeah, um, but yeah, announce on Twitter. Yeah, so I'll be taking some questions towards the end of the stream. But yeah, for now, let's just get into this and talk about what's been happening. So pretty much a week ago, actually, I pretty much shared this level at the moment, and right now we've come into this order block over here. We've taken out some liquidity. And essentially, I am waiting for a couple of things to happen. Essentially, just waiting for either at the very least taking out $28,000, since we didn't really do that over here. I think we kind of front ran it just by a hair. So it would be really, really nice if we just come back up to at least take out the liquidity over here and to actually come up to this level of liquidity over here as well. So yeah. Also, I like to keep it extremely minimalistic, my chart. Not too much going on. Pretty much just focusing on the most important levels. I don't like to mark anything out. So this might be a bit different depending on where you're coming from, what you're used to seeing. Um, but I will talk about all of these in depth in the Discord. And if you're not in the Discord already, you can feel free to join Trading Floor. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be pretty active in there, kind of like how I used to be before in the community. So yeah, and honestly, it would be really nice to see some old faces as well. And yeah, so that's essentially what I'm waiting for at the moment. That is what I shared a couple of days ago. And I did actually also want to go over, I did share on Twitter some really, really macro high time frame stuff as well, which I got some questions about. So I'm just going to go over that really quickly. So this is essentially all I'm looking at over here on the monthly chart. So I'm kind of treating this as just one big range where we are at the moment since, June. And all we did was essentially take out the lows, and I am waiting for a little bit higher. Yes, I am still looking for higher. I know this move down is kind of freaking a lot of people out. A lot of people are, um, I guess, unsure at the moment, hesitant on what we're about to do. Of course, there is a big and plausible scenario that we just continue moving down and make new lows, but just so far, I haven't seen that yet. And I am going to be looking extremely, extremely closely at $25,000 stop losses, this order block over here, before I make any real decisions, I guess, on the overall outlook of the market. For now, I haven't really changed my macro perspective on the market, which, just to show very briefly, looks like this, where essentially I still see us coming up to $35,000 before making new lows. So I shared that on Twitter. And I'm only going over this again because I've been asked, I think, a couple of times if this is still in play, if this drop means anything. Of course, it means something, and it means that we could just be having another correction before the move up potentially. And I would I would be really, really paying attention to $25,000 to this liquidity area over here. And I'd also be really open-minded to the idea of still coming up one last time to kind of take out these highs over here and move into this area of imbalances on the chart and hit this little breaker as well. So keeping it really simple, I wouldn't overthink it too much. I'm personally at the moment just sticking to swing trades, day trades, scalping. I haven't always been the best at it. I've been pretty inconsistent, but yeah, that is really briefly what I'm looking at on the macro perspective as well. Before I continue any further, let me just double check what's happening. Yeah, so I'm guessing audio's all good, everything's all good, everything's fine. Um, if something is off at all, please let me know in the chat. I know the mic quality is overall not the best, but it's going to take me a bit of time just to get everything set up, everything, to better quality, I guess. But the most important thing is that you guys can just hear me clearly, and everything, isn't too confusing at the moment. So yeah, all good, perfect. I like the sound of that. So yeah. I think now that I kind of went over some really basic stuff, I did want to just answer some more questions. And I have some questions on Twitter that I'm going to go over. But if you do have any questions right now, please feel free to send them in on the chat here on YouTube. I can read through them, go over them really quickly. This is something more relaxed, more than anything, I guess, in detail. Kind of still easing my way back into things. So yeah, but I know El Jefe. I don't know if he's watching this now, but he mentioned if we're gonna go to 40K and if that fits my analysis. And I'm gonna be completely honest, like $40,000 is, I'd imagine there's a lot of stop losses up here without a doubt. And I'd imagine also there is a point of control around this area. So yeah, I can a million percent see his reasoning behind $40,000. Um, but I'm just gonna look for 35,000 first, just because yeah, it is a massive level to look for first, and yeah. But in all honesty, this whole region where these up close candles are is going to be extremely, extremely important. So I know this looks massive, and I know this looks extremely intimidating if you're a leverage trader, because I think what's the range on this? About 32%. So yeah, I'd imagine people in the crypto markets looking to leverage trade this aren't exactly going to want to go into a 32% possible loss. So yeah, I think it's definitely, possible, and it's definitely a huge number where there could be a lot of liquidations. But I'm gonna personally wait until $35,000 first, around that area, if we even get to it, and then kind of see from there what happens. So yeah, if we hit it and we just keep going up, and there's no real sign of strength, then yeah, 40,000, and this order block over here, in general would be an extremely, extremely high, focus area for me. Because otherwise, then this, if we reclaim this area, then this just looks way too bullish, and I would be extremely cautious on going short at that point onwards. So yeah, for now, this is my plan. I'm going to be focusing on $35,000, and we'll go from there. Am I trading ICT concepts? Yeah, absolutely. So my trading style at the moment is kind of a mix of just a lot of things that I've learned. And you know, everyone knows, most people know that I started out with CC, And then I moved on to learning ICT concepts as well. And then I started, depending on who you ask, they wouldn't really call what I do Elliott waves. It's kind of an interesting remix that I've done in it because I do use those concepts mostly in line with ICT stuff, and I guess I do a more like dumbed down version of it, where it's super simple. I'm not looking at any intermediate or low time frame stuff. Mostly just focus on high time frame bias, and my main goal is to honestly just make it as simple as possible for myself, while still being as accurate as possible. Which if you guys have seen my charts in the Discord and in general, yeah, the charts speak for themselves, I guess. So yeah, let me just see what else I've been asked over here. Let's see. Will we go to $20,000 to fill CME gap? To be honest, I don't actually look at CME gaps all that much. Um, $20,000, to be honest, I would say coming down to $20,000 in general is going to be extremely, extremely bearish. I mean, it's obviously bearish anyways because that's how we got down here, but I just mean that we're going to be making new lows. I think there's a really, really high possibility that breaking or coming down to $20,000 will lead to new lows in general. And I do believe that will happen at some point. It will just have to happen if we either break that $25,000 order block area where I have it marked out, or after we come up to $35,000 and then move back down. So, um, yeah, that is essentially what I'm looking at. I would not read, I'm personally not paying attention to CME gaps. I do understand a lot of people have good opinions about them and good, overall positive trades because of CME gaps. But my trading style at the moment is just as simple as possible. I'm mostly focusing on liquidity, order blocks, fair value gaps, and a little bit of a strange version of Elliott waves right now. I'm still learning. I'm still moving forward with it, but I think I've kind of found a sweet spot in how I like to chart. And I think most of you who have seen my charts in the past know that I like to keep everything super, super simple, nothing too crazy. Just keep the really, really important stuff on the charts and go from there. So that is exactly why I have these levels marked out only on my chart. So yeah, for me at the moment, this is definitely the least, the minimum target for me for Bitcoin to come up to. So of course, profit taking is absolutely necessary, but because this is more of a day trade, a multi-day trade, this is definitely a place where I would take out majority of the profits on, not anywhere in between. So over here, and then kind of seeing depending on the weekly open. So if we come up to this level next week on Tuesday, anytime next week really to in the weekday, then this would be extremely, extremely high interest to me, this area for either just fully closing my trades or also looking for a short back down to $25,000. So obviously that depends on how fast we move up. If we come up and keep moving up before we even open up next week's candle, so if we just keep moving up right now extremely impulsively, then I would probably only take profits and just leave the rest running and be cautious on shorts. If I'm being completely honest, that's my outlook. So yeah, I know it all sounds a bit vague, but I do, of course, plan to explain everything in detail on the Discord. I will be having weekly streams, live streams twice a week on the Discord, and I'll try to be as concise, as specific to how I look at the charts as possible to, yeah, just share how I get these levels essentially. And speaking of, actually, there's one other thing I've been asked about so much, and that is, of course, my that call on Luna, um, all the way up at $100. Of course, well, I'd hope a lot of you remember. saying that I think a lot of people were making fun of me. It's pretty funny actually, seeing everyone's reaction. I mean, it's not really funny because obviously a lot of people lost money on this, but I guess that's the name of the game, unfortunately. And yeah, essentially explaining how and why I was even looking at Luna to drop. And I mentioned on Twitter and I mentioned on Discords, I spammed it on the Discords over here. I was like, Luna's going to zero, Luna's going to zero. I didn't mean that literally, by the way. But yeah, it's really nice, I guess, to see that the prophecy actually came true and we did go to zero, surprisingly. So yeah, I will be going over things like this, why I was so bearish on Luna at this point, what was the decision behind this, because I know a lot of people were freaking out about this. I didn't really see a lot of people talking about Luna dropping at this point. So yeah, that's something I'm extremely excited to go over and talk to everyone about. Um, so yeah, let me just double check, see if there's anything else I'm missing. Um, yeah, May 20 on Luna Short. Yeah, man. I heard, a lot of people made good money on that, so I'm really, really happy about that. I'm just glad I saved people as much as I can from really like, being bullish on Luna at that point. But yeah, that happened, and there are some coins as well I'm looking at that have similar patterns. So it will be very interesting to see if they play out in the near future, and if we get another Luna 2.0 type of price action at some point, because I guess those are the most exciting in a way to go over. So yeah, let me just double check, see if there's any other questions. Sideways from us. Yeah, I mean, I can't really see anything too specific in terms of questions, but I will just go over my general idea for Bitcoin at the moment, which is, I am looking for higher. That is my bias at the moment. I am looking for $35,000, or at the very least, breaching this high. We could absolutely come up over here and just see some sort of like move like this, where we just swing failure pattern the high, failed auction the high, and then come back down. But my preferred scenario is absolutely coming up here to 35,000. And what do I see at the moment over here on Bitcoin? Well, short time frame. In the ideal world, uh, what I would really, really like to happen is something where we come up here to this order block over here sometime next week, potentially, and then see another move down to $25,000, hit the liquidity, take out this order block. We have a lot of relatively equal lows. I'd imagine a lot of trailed stop losses would be here as well. And then see a move up from that point onwards. So that would be really, really nice. That is, of course, in the ideal world. We could always just keep going up from this point. And that is an option I'm looking for. And that's why I would suggest, or at least, for myself, paper trades only. This is not financial advice. I'm not a professional. I'm just here for entertainment purposes, of course. But hitting this order block, and then I'll take a lot of my profits and kind of just wait to see some sort of weakness, like a re-entry below this area here, this area of liquidity, before I move back down. So that would be the ideal scenario for this area here. That is what I'm looking for. Otherwise, I will wait until we move up to 35,000. And look for some potential swings at that point. So yeah, super simple, nothing complex. Um, but yeah, do I see us going below $20,000? I do. I absolutely do. Uh, it's just a matter of when, really. So I can just go over this chart one more time. I already shared this on Twitter, but let me go over it here on the stream. So I know this is going to look extremely ridiculous, but I have this multi-year plan drawn out. And yeah, essentially it is coming up to 35, and then after that point coming down to take out $10,000 stop losses, and then this area of the chart is to be decided on. You know, will we just come up to make another all-time high after taking out 10K stop losses? Well, you know, I'm not a genie. I'm not Akinator, whatever whatever you guys want to call it. This is just, based off of where the major liquidity is, where the major order blocks are. This is a massive order block on the yearly chart. $10,000 is a massive area of liquidity on the chart. There is some order blocks down here. And of course, this plays on the idea that, we made some kind of uh, I'm guessing a lot of people here might be familiar with some Elliott waves, and I know not everyone, but a lot of people have already made counts where it's like, okay, we've kind of made our cycle high already over here, and typically, when you make such a high time frame cycle high, it's pretty normal to expect at least a couple of years of correction. So, again, does that mean that we'll come down here and last until 2029? Potentially not. I can't sit here and say this is likely, but it's just a scenario. It's just something that I'm looking for and I'm prepared for if it happens. So yeah, just keep an open mind. I'm sure a lot of people weren't really expecting 15,000 on Bitcoin, 16,000 on Bitcoin. So yeah, this is what my, I guess, plan for the next couple of years is. And I guess I'll keep following it until it gets invalidated. So if we just keep moving up, then obviously this is invalidated. If we just keep moving down, then this is invalidated. So I drew this idea back in December, actually back in November. So when we were down here at the lows, I shared that on Twitter, how the chart looked. So, I have no reason to realistically stray out of it until it goes out of the plan, until something, happens that just invalidates it, makes me have to think otherwise. So, this is what I'm looking for. Do I see us going down below 20,000? Yes, at some point. So, yeah, it will have to be after a move up to 35, or we just keep going down. Who knows? So, yeah, this is my very, very scary, very low, so far low probability, because come on, like, you have to think like this is a multi-year plan, and you know you never know for sure. So I'm just going off of where the liquidity is and the order blocks are, and that's what just drawn me to these levels. So yeah, I know that might be scary for a lot of people. Um, but to me, it is honestly, and for a lot of people, it's going to be a great opportunity if we drop down to those levels and kind of just keep trading these high time frame levels. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I will be sharing some macro updates on Twitter, but to be honest, anything day trading ideas, anything kind of like lower time frame where a couple percentage moves, and just generally updating the group as I go along. That will happen on trading floor, just because for me to send update day trades on Twitter, it is going to be a bit of a hassle. On the Discord, I can have a back and forth communication with everyone. It's going to be much easier. Even back in the days before I was a coach, you would rarely see me share day trades on Twitter, because it's just pretty difficult to keep everyone updated without leading to a lot of confusion, I guess. So yeah, let me see what else people wrote really quickly. Okay, love the way you keep it simple. Followed you in CC. Gotta tell us, where have you been? So honestly, I've still been trading in the background. I've still been doing, like mostly just swings, just keeping up to date with the markets, nothing too crazy. But overall, I've been focusing on just doing things outside of trading. Like I'm still relatively young, and to be honest, trading full time was a bit taxing mentally. And I thought, why not take a little bit of a break, why not actually, do something else? Because I do enjoy growing my career outside of trading as well. At the same time, I do like what I do professionally. So yeah, that's where I've been, just enjoying myself, family, travel, work. So yeah, and also, being social. That's the most important thing, I guess. So yeah, but I feel at ease, I feel good, and I feel like the community is kind of like, quieted down a little bit since my last appearance. So I thought, why not? And yeah, that's pretty much all I really wanted to go over, to be honest. Um, oh, one last thing, actually. Um, we actually gave a giveaway at Trading Floor for free membership on based on Twitter retweets or likes, I believe. Sorry, guys, my memory right on stream is a little bit foggy. Again, I'm getting used to this, so I might fumble a little bit, but but yeah, we actually gave away a free membership to Tyreen. If you guys know of him, remember him, but yeah, we gave away free membership, which was really nice to see. Um, and the guy is actually a really good trader. So yeah, I look forward to seeing his charts in the Discord as well. You know, I know a lot of you guys are here to kind of see my charts, but trust me, like we've got people like Larry, we've got people like Bongman. Well, he doesn't share too many charts, but when he does, they're usually like they're usually pretty accurate and they're usually pretty out there as well. We got Pi, we got Cypher, we got so many people, that are just doing really, really good uh, in the Discord. So yeah, come check us out. I'll be there. That's where I'm going to be the most active at the moment. And also, just because I'm active in the Discord, feel free to send me any questions on Twitter. Do follow me, do follow the Trading Floor, stay up to date and everything. And yeah, it's honestly really nice. It's a fresh breath of fresh air, I guess, to be doing streams. I've been wanting to do these for a long time. So yeah, and without taking up too much time, hope you guys have a good rest of the day, a good rest of the week, evening, afternoon, whatever it is, and I will talk to you all soon.